Hey everyone, Boss Bafak here. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys an update on my watch collection. I don't have a huge watch collection. I love Rolex and it's what I wear. I've purchased, you guys have seen into my videos, you've seen me talk about my Day-Date 40 in rose gold. You've seen me talk about my GMT Master 2, which was the anniversary GMT, and my latest acquisition, which is the Submariner, and it's with the so-called Starbucks, the 126 reference in LN. It's got the green Cerakote ceramic bezel with the black face. First, just get some housekeeping out of the way. I'm going to be drinking tonight. As I talk to you, I've got my 15-year-old Macallan, the double cask, which, as I mentioned, I really enjoy. The 15 and the 18. Might even like the 15 more than the 18, actually. And so I've poured myself a glass of that as I'm talking to you. These are the tumblers I really love, the whiskey tumblers, the whiskey glasses that I enjoy using. Got a nice heavy bottom, clear all the way through, but a little bit of design to make it more interesting. And it's a nice crystal glass, and I really enjoy drinking my scotch out of these. So with that out of the way, everybody, we can now focus on the watches. So what is new? Well, my AD contacted me and said, I have something here for you. I know you've wanted it for a while. Well, here it is. And it is the new Submariner. As you know, it's a unidirectional. In other words, it only turns one way. The reason is because this is a diver's watch, and so if you bump the bezel, it'll only shorten the dive and not accidentally make it longer, therefore risk your life. I absolutely love it. And the thing about this particular Submariner is it's different to all the others. So what have they done differently? Well, they've made it more dressy. So there's a number of things that have changed. They've now called this the 41 millimeter across from end of bezel to end of bezel. But the truth of the matter is the previous version, which was the Hulk before, was actually 40.3 mils, and this is technically 40.6. But really, that isn't actually what makes watches and gives watches their heft. It's really the lug to lug sizes, wideness from the crown, size of the crown to the back of the case, and the height, sort of the thickness or height of the Rolex. So what have they changed here? So as I just said, it's gone to 40.6, or as they'd round up to 41 millimeters. It's meant to be a larger watch, but really, couple of things that they've done here is that a huge difference here is the movement. The sub date now actually has the 32-35 movement, which gives it a 70-hour power reserve, and just a far more dynamic and technically better movement inside the watch. The other thing too is they shrunk down the size, so it's a flatter watch. You've got the nice polished edges here, the polished edges over here, and on the edges of the bracelet. And so what it means is it actually gives it a bit of a dressy sort of a feel. They also have the Cerakote bezel, which is slightly bigger than the previous version. The bracelet over here is 21 mils, which is about 2 or 3 mils wider than before. And so what they've done, and actually if I can show you this, what they've actually done with this watch relative to the previous version, the last version, which was the Hulk version, was a square, and what they've done is they've stretched it up. So they've actually so they pulled it up, pushed it in towards the center, and then flattened it over here, made it a thinner watch this way, and made it look far more dressy. The other thing too that they have done over here, if you see the lugs, which is where the edge of the arm of the watch meets the edge of the bracelet. They've made these narrower and longer, pulled them out. And so what you have now is you have a watch that really looks quite dressy, and in my opinion is a far better pronunciation of what the sub is actually meant to be. It is beautiful. I'm in love with it. Finally, the big change is the markers and particularly the arms. The markers in the arms are fatter and longer. Something I really enjoy. And then there's another tiny little thing in between the Swiss made at the bottom at 6 o'clock. What they've done is they have added a little crown in there. Actually, I just need to turn this all around. I turned it one time too many. It's still got the 120 clicks to go all the way around. I have to tell you, I'm absolutely in love with this. I still thought, when I bought the day date, I really went back to my GMT2. I really did. I still love this watch. Very dressy because you've got the polished center pieces in the bracelet. Just a gorgeous watch, and it's got the green alternate time arm, and it's got the green writing denoting. Anytime there's green on a particular Rolex, it means it's an anniversary version. So this one is the anniversary version, the 50th anniversary of the GMT, which is now discontinued. And the green bezel here denotes the anniversary for the Submariner. And I got to say, I'm just absolutely loving this thing. When I bought my day date, I'd go back for a day to the GMT, but then I'd run right back to my day date. And I bought the day date back in, and I'm going to do an updated video. Incredible watch. Look, guys, this is just a grail watch. I bought this in June of 2018. But I got to say, since I purchased my sub, and I don't like calling it Starbucks, I wish they'd rather call it something like the Green Lantern. Green Lantern would have been awesome. Since I bought it, I haven't taken it off my arm. Now, that was only a week ago. So, but I am loving it, and it is really dressy. I love the way they've done the bezel. I love the flattened watch, and it sort of the widened watch, and the flattened top of the glass to the bottom of the case. And I love the skinny lugs. Really does look very dressy. It's a beautiful piece. Problem, guys, and this is the same thing with all these watches, you just cannot get Rolex right now. I'm lucky. I'm connected to an AD. And I bought many watches. I own 3. I own 4 actually. I have a Datejust, which my wife wears. And now the problem is you can't get a hold of it. I'm very fortunate. As I said, I'm connected to somebody who contacted me and said, here it is, come in. And I did. And of course, I purchased it right away. Now, well, that Macallan's just amazing. This is just such a fabulous scotch. I have to highly recommend this. I prefer the double cask and the Virgin Oak. They aren't all years made in the Virgin Oak, but these are my 2 favorites. So back to the watches. The problem you have is accessibility. As we know, you just cannot buy a Rolex today. Rolex is very hard to get a hold of. And what's happened is now in the second-hand market, prices are 3 times what retail is. What's happened now as well is Rolex has now allowed ADs to break the second-hand market. In other words, ADs don't need to charge the Rolex list price anymore. They can do whatever they want. So the result is I was able to pay my $10,500 for this, but this watch right now is worth about $30,000 US. So $10,500 retail, $30,000 is what you'll pay for this watch. And I'm talking about US dollars now, guys. So $30,000 for this one. This one's discontinued. Brand new, it's also about, I think it's 12,000. This particular one's 20,000 US on the market. And the one that's really now gone rare is anything in gold. So as you know, Rolex has its own gold smelter. When you buy a Rolex, it's actually Rolex Gold. It's a fully vertically integrated company. In other words, they actually manufacture the materials themselves. In all the little pieces inside the machinery, in the movement, there's oil, lubricants that make everything run smoothly. Rolex even makes the lubricants, guys. They even make the lube. Gold, the lube, it's all made by them. These watches now, so list price on one of these today, I think it's about 48,000 US. For the rose gold, something like that. On the second-hand market where you're going to find them, you're paying about 70 to 75,000 US dollars for this watch. So real issues. I don't know that this is ever going to be resolved. word from the inside is that Rolex is actually specifically set out to increase the prices of their watches. I've always thought that Rolex, and everybody's known, Rolex is the value watch because of the quality of what you can pay for one of those. I don't think it's been fair, and so I definitely think that there's some room to move. It's just how much is the room to move. You know, the other thing I was wanting to mention to you guys is if you ever can get one of these things are worth their weight in gold. This is a travel case, particularly if you own a gold watch. Gold watches scratch terribly. And so what I do with this thing is whenever I travel and I've got my day date, I'll put the day date inside the travel case. Fits beautifully. I really only use it for my day date because if you just put it inside the safe, it will scratch against itself. And then it just drops straight inside here, held in place. They've even got a nice piece of tape over here. Sort of it's one of those cushion tape. Just so that you're protected on the links. I mean, isn't that a beautiful bracelet? I have to tell you, in my opinion, the Day-Date 40, the Rolex President, is the greatest watch on earth. Absolutely love it. Yes, we don't have to get into the arguments about movements and tourbillons, and I know that there's stuff that is equivalent to the making of a space shuttle, but in terms of a watch experience, in my opinion, there is no better watch on earth. So now, so this clip's closed like this, and what happens is over here, it doesn't scratch, it just bumps against this cushion, and over here, all protected. So these cases are fantastic, highly recommend them, very cheap to buy, but you'll be very happy with your very expensive gold piece. So everyone, just gonna let you see it on my arm. I have to tell you, it's gorgeous. It's got the glide lock, of course, the glide lock clasp. Absolutely beautiful. Here's a little hint too on your Rolexes, and this is on all the Rolexes, not just the subs. Whenever you close your Rolex, okay, whether it's the Day-Date 40 or this particular clip, sorry about that, guys. Always put your finger like this underneath between your skin and the watch. Hold it like this when you push back on the clasp. It'll add years to the working mechanism, and then click it in, and then keep it there. The second one. So as you can see on my arm, just a beautiful, beautiful piece. I'm loving it. Hasn't come off my arm yet. Just love this watch. Absolutely beautiful. So dressy. I wear it with my Tom Ford suits and my Hugo Boss suits every day, and it goes just beautifully. And because it's quite flat, it's not like the deep sea. Easy underneath a shirt. So everyone, thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.